All right, so last lesson we imported a PSD and we actually brought it in with separate layers. We looked at how to do it as a composition. That way you can go inside the composition, have your different layers, and still be able to change the controls on your adjustment layers. Now what we're going to do is we're going to import an Illustrator file in a similar way, so we break that up into layers as well. So once again, you can go to File, Import File, use Command I to import your file, or my favorite method, double-clicking down here in your project panel where there's no other files listed. Navigate to that ghostpuddle.ai file that was provided for you. And where it says import as, again, we're going to do composition, but this time we'll do composition retain layer sizes. That way it'll crop our layers down to the same size as our artwork. Once again, make sure that your sequence is turned off and click open. Now again, we're getting our pre-comp coming in. We've got a folder with our two different layers, one as our ghost, the other one as our puddle, hence the name Ghost Puddle. And then we can once again go inside of this composition and see the two separate layers. Now what we want to do with this is we're actually going to do a morph. We're going to have our puddle morph into our ghost. In order to do this, we're going to have to turn these into native shapes. So we'll be working a little bit with the shape layers within After Effects as well. So what I want you to do is select both your ghost and your puddle layer. Then you're going to right click and choose Create Shapes from Vector Layer. What this will do is it'll hide the original layers, but it'll still leave them in your layer panel, and then it'll create new layers called outline layers that are shape layers. So it's as if you actually drew the shape yourself in After Effects, which I don't recommend doing on complicated shapes. Even on these kind of simple shapes, it's a little bit hard to deal with the pen tool in After Effects. It's much better to do it in Illustrator and then import it afterwards. There are some things that won't come over from Illustrator to After Effects, so try to keep the illustrations pretty simple. No clipping masks, no crazy 3D stuff. Simpler is better. So now what we want to do is we want to actually morph this puddle into this ghost. So to do that, we need to find the ghost path information. You can get to that by expanding your layer. You can either click and then expand again in contents and then expand in group and then path 1, but it gets kind of annoying to constantly click through all this stuff to get it to expand. There's actually a quicker way. If you hold down the Command key on your keyboard and click on the arrow, that'll expand everything for you. And if you're trying to find something in a layer, it does obviously take up a large section of your timeline, but it will expand everything and make it a little bit easier to find a hidden property within here if you don't know exactly where it's at. So what we need is we need our path property. So go ahead and go to the path section and find your path property. And this has to deal with the actual points here. You actually have the ability to turn on the keyframe or time vary stopwatch and animate these points moving around and morphing into a different shape. We're actually going to do it an easier way. What we're going to do is we're going to copy this shape data and then paste it into our other shape. And that'll allow us to do 2 keyframes, one of each shape, and automatically animate for us. So when you click on the word path, that'll highlight all of these points. You're going to hit Command-C to copy. Then you'll want to collapse your layer, hide it, and then expand the puddle layer. Once again, you're going to find the path, move to where you want your animation to start, and give about 10 frames before mine starts moving. That's about 1/3 of a second. Enable your path keyframes by clicking on the stopwatch. Move forward in time where you want your animation to end. We'll give it another 15 frames, putting it at 25. That'd be about 1/2 second of animation. Then you're going to hit Command-V as in victory to paste. And it's going to paste it a little bit off-center, so you might need to move it around a little bit. And it might involve a little bit of scrubbing back and forth, but you'll see it change from one shape to the next. So next we're going to look at how to add a little bit of flourish to this, adjust the animation a little bit, and then combine it with our Photoshop animation as well.